Something is going on with Tyler Robinson. What they're hiding around what's happening to Tyler Robinson is nuts. What's happening to Tyler Robinson every 15 minutes is nuts. I came across a video this weekend out of a news outlet in the region where Tyler Robinson's being held that showed the conditions that he's being held in. It's leaked and it's suspicious, and that shit made me want to come around and make sure I told you all about it right away. They're hiding what's happening to this man. Since his arrest, something has been quietly put in place around this case. Authorities haven't explained it. The media has not explained it. They're pushing back on explaining it. And the details that have leaked out raise more questions than they answer. And listen, we already know that there's a lot of funny business going on with this one. We've talked about it in great detail. I think we have over 38 episodes on it at this point. Erika Kirk's behavior raises a lot of questions. Joe Kent is willing to testify in defense of Tyler Robinson. He doesn't believe he acted alone. There's a lot of questions around that. We know that there's a lot of new developments in the trial with the matching the ammunition and the DNA collected at the scene. This is a 22-year-old man accused of one of the most high-profile crimes in recent American history. And you cannot see him. And almost nobody is asking why. What are they not showing you? And real quick, I'm Lauren Paritra. Willow Paritra is snoozing behind me like a sleepy, tipped-over baby cow cherub angel. And we currently have a lead on Katie Miller. If you're new here, Katie Miller is the wife of Stephen Little Bitch Miller, the pale white nationalist from Santa Monica behind all of this ICE and immigration terror. She looked at him and she married that ghastly poor man's Dracula on purpose. And the least we can do out of pure principle is maintain our lead. And that takes all of us. So consider every sub, every follow, every comment, 6 words or more, every hype, every action, consider it an FU to Katie and Stephen Little Bitch Miller. We're also now available where you get your podcasts. Tyler Robinson, I'm going to set the scene here, is being hidden. And here's why that should concern you. Most people know the basic outline here. When you have a prominent political figure gets and a suspect gets arrested, the story usually moves pretty fast. Something happened, however, after his arrest, and legal experts are quietly calling it very unusual. Every detail of Robinson's custody, from what he wears, how he appears in court, what the public is allowed to see, is being very deliberately controlled. Authorities have an explanation for it.
Tyler Robinson is now in the most restrictive custody level that Utah can provide for him at the time, pending standing trial.
New at 10 as the case moves forward against accused Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson. We have yet to see Robinson in person.
Yeah, earlier this week, his new defense attorneys asked the court to change his appearance from in-person to virtual from the Utah County Jail where he's being held.
Chief investigative reporter Wendy Halloran has been following the case and has more tonight on where Robinson's being housed and what that would look like.
But we have seen this before, and the last time we saw it, the full story never came out. So some historical context here, because this really matters. And the media is not going to show you this one. But you know, history always will. So if we go back to 1968, Robert F. Kennedy had just won the California Democratic primary and was widely expected to become the next president. Minutes after his victory speech in Los Angeles, he was shot. The group was tackled at the scene with a in head, and he was arrested on the spot. The case closed almost immediately. The public had their and the narrative was set.
2 of Kennedy's sons reportedly supported the release of Sirhan, and so does a former colleague of ours who was there that night that Kennedy was assassinated and was the first on the air to report it.
How much more can you punish the guy?
That's former reporter Tim Harrell, who was there the night Sirhan shot Senator Robert F. Kennedy just after midnight. Kennedy had just been declared California's Democratic nominee for president and was walking through the kitchen of LA's Ambassador Hotel. Boris Yarrow talked to Hal Eisner for a KTTV special about the photo he took, marking that moment in history.
First clue I had something not right was shots. Bang, bang, bang.
Yarrow died last year. Fox 11 reached out to Kennedy's son, Robert Kennedy Jr., for reaction to the parole board's decision to release Sirhan. In the past and for this hearing, he supported his release.
The evidence never fully matched the story Are we seeing some parallels here? The held 8 wounds. Investigators counted 13 fired that night. That Kennedy entered from behind. He was in front of Kennedy the entire time. He has no memory of the a claim his own attorneys supported with evidence of hypnotic programming. None of that made it into the public narrative, and by the time those questions surfaced, the window had closed. Nobody expected this to stay buried, but it did. Are we seeing some parallels here? Some things that are just not adding up. Again, his had 8 wounds. Investigators counted fired that night. This is what happens when isolation and narrative control are used together around a high-profile political. The story gets told once and the door closes.
Well, Heidi and Mark, Utah County Sheriff Sergeant Ray Orman says Robinson is still being held in a special unit. So what does that look like?
Could you state your name? Tyler James Robinson.
22-year-old Tyler Robinson has been in the Utah County Jail for 3 weeks. Officials previously said Robinson is on suicide watch and in an isolation cell in the special housing unit known as SHU.
The SHU is the perfect place to contain and isolate someone while they're standing trial for a serious charge like this.
At his initial appearance, he was seen in the jail wearing a suicide smock, which 2 News Investigates confirmed is the attire for inmates in the SHU.
The accused is in a very restrictive environment, meaning that there's hardly any movement unless the movement is called for by the administration.
So this is the part where shit gets really sideways. Tyler Robinson's situation has leaked, and it is way worse than you think, because as of October, Tyler Robinson has been placed in solitary confinement. He is on a special watch in a separate unit, monitored around the clock, with no in-person court appearances, and media access tightly restricted. Authorities say it's for his safety and for a mental health evaluation, but legal experts are calling the level of restriction unusual for a pretrial suspect. This is what they're doing to Tyler Robinson. Why aren't more people talking about this? Robinson is confined to his cell for approximately 23 hours a day. Everything is brought to him. Physical checks happen every 15 minutes. Every word he says is monitored. His defense attorneys have already raised concerns here, arguing that showing him in restraints before potential jurors plants a conclusion in their minds before they know a single piece of evidence, before even a single piece of evidence is presented. We also remember Donald Trump going on the record before he had even his trial had even begun, saying this man deserves capital punishment. So something about those things are going to shape what the public believes. So the narrative around Tyler Robinson is being constructed right now in public while he has no voice in any of it. And again, Tyler Robinson's trial isn't even fully in motion yet. They are trying to control so much of it. The story is being written around him while he sits completely cut off from the public. This is the truth that they don't want out. What do you think they're trying to hide? Because after a high-profile political, the cases usually move pretty fast. The narrative locks in before any of the evidence is fully examined, and once that window closes, it rarely reopens. I want to ask you guys now, what do you think they're trying to hide? What do you think they're doing by keeping Tyler Robinson in isolation? Do you think Tyler Robinson's a threat? Do we remember what his friends said about him? That he was always somebody that they never pictured to be violent. They were surprised. I know we hear this often around the narrative around young, but he turned himself in, allegedly. Those text messages, his confession to his alleged lover, roommate hybrid was a little bit bizarro. But what do you think they're doing keeping him away from everyone else? What do you think him being around other people might risk? I want to know what you think. We're going to keep digging in here. We're not done. And again, we're available now wherever you listen to your podcasts, and we'll always be here on YouTube, and you can find us across social. Please let me know what you think. We want to know what you want us to dig into more, and we'll be back.